This, as the title of the video implies, is not Titan's Return Kup. This is the Takara version, LG-46 Kup, which is Titan's Return Kup, but with a little bit different molding in a few places, a different paint scheme, obviously, and he comes with a Targetmaster. Not a Battlemaster, a Targetmaster. This was before they did the Battlemasters. And honestly, I kind of think the Battlemasters do things a little bit better, but the painting on this guy's nice. I don't know. We'll look at him later. But yeah, here we have LG-46 Kup in vehicle mode. And this, I've been a long time fan of this mold. This is a cool mold. I don't care about Kup at all as a character or whatever. I don't have any like major investment in the the character or any of his other figures, but I feel like, as weird as it is, Kup usually has pretty good figures. Like, ignoring the G1 original, which I've never messed with and by most accounts is not great, the Titan's Return mold is fantastic. The Transformers Prime mold is also fantastic. Everyone loves the Generations mold. I honestly don't. I don't hate it, but I'm not a big fan of the Generations mold, but like, it's beloved by everyone except me. And I will continue to die on this hill. Maybe not die, but I will continue to stand firmly and proudly on this hill that the Studio Series 86 mold of Kup, particularly the buzzworthy version, and especially with repro labels, is fantastic. I really like this mold, especially the buzzworthy version in the darker colors with the opaque windshield, which you can't see now because of the sticker. But yeah, like, this is a really cool mold. So like, Kup tends to have really good figures, which is just an interesting observation. But this is very cool. And while I like the Titan's Return version of Kup a lot, and also thought the Orion Pax version was pretty cool, I think this is the definitive version. Not because I feel like it's more cartoon accurate, I just feel like the colors are better, the deco is better, and the molding changes they made on this I feel like are just more pleasant to look at. Functionally, it's practically the exact same figure, with like one engineering difference, and it's extremely minor. But this is a cool figure in its own right, but like, this color scheme, this deco, I just think it's, this is probably the best version, at least in my mind, of this mold. And he is, we'll get this out of the way, he is a Cybertronian-looking truck with fists at the back. It is what it is, but yeah, it's a bit of a silly thing having the fists poking out back there, but the truck mode does look good, ignoring the fists. And the way they handled this deco is really cool. I'm actually gonna take the little Titanmaster guy out. I don't know this guy's name. I don't even know if he has one. But yeah, this is a cool looking truck. Look at him in a minute. It's got the Kup truck profile, where it's basically a triangle with a truck bed behind it. But what I like about this is the way they did the color separation. How this darker green is primarily towards the back, with just a few hits of this lighter, almost blue in, a couple of spots, like the fists in here, but then you get more of it up towards the front, and that kind of breaks up the dark green until you get to the actual windshield section and like nose of the vehicle, where it goes back into the darker green. And it's just a nice, pleasing color layout for how this all comes together. And I think we bring in Buzzworthy Kup, which is supposed to be more show-ish. I feel like you can kind of see how it's homaging that color layout. Not the same colors, but just like the color placement, where you've got like the wheel wells are this lighter color, and the lighter color at the back here is kind of represented by the lighter colors going on here. That kind of thing. It's, again, Titan's Return mold, so it's mostly the same molding with these little drawers along the sides and whatnot. The Wheels. I feel like it would have been nice if they used this paint on the wheels here, but they are covered, so it is what it is. But like you can kind of see the rims here, so I feel like it would have been nice if they painted those, but I get why they didn't. I don't think they did it with this one either. No, they're just straight up gray. Not that they really did much to paint these anyway. Those are reefer labels, but yeah. But like the rest of it, it's surprisingly minimal. At least it looks minimal, but like you do get paint along the wheel wells here, on the rims, going along here, all up in here, like this stripe going along the front here. This dark green and the lighter bluish color is like both paint. You get the lighter blue paint here. Then on the actual front, you've got some nice silver. I think it would have been nice if they painted the lights too, but that's okay. They did do the taillights though, and I like this orange on this dark green. That's actually like that pops really nicely. That's a cool combination of colors. And the way this is molded, it's not painted, but it makes the lines around those lights almost look like it's painted black. Again, it's not painted at all. It's just the dark green, but the way it's sculpted combined with the contrast with the orange makes it feel like and look like it has like a darker color behind it to make them pop more, even though it doesn't, which is just a cool effect. And it rolls and all of that. And you can open the cockpit section, the windshield section, and there's a little seating area for the Titanmaster to sit in and all of that stuff that we're used to with Titan's Return stuff. Now, getting this out of the way, here is little Titanmaster, whose name I do not know. And he is simple, but he is done in the same dark green plastic with the lighter kind of bluish color for the thighs. They actually painted the thighs. And they painted them all the way around. The torso section is the plastic, but then they did paint his little head, which is cute. I like that he has the little light blue visor too. I don't know. I like that they paint, like, I don't display my Titan's Return or Legends figures like this. I have them, in their robot modes with the actual Titan Masters in head mode, but I appreciate when they add extra paint to the Titan Masters standalone robot modes. And around back, we've got Kup's head, but we'll talk more about that when we get to robot mode. And yeah, this guy is cute, and I like the way he's painted. And you can, instead of putting him in the driver's seat, you can peg him back here. And you've got a multitude of pegs. You can peg him here, peg him here, peg him here. I prefer to peg him in one of these spots, and that holds really nicely. And I'm just going to leave him here with his arms out for no particular reason, and he will sit off to the side. And we'll look at the Targetmaster, whose name I also don't know. And he looks good. I like that you've got this kind of, it's like primarily a dark, it's primarily black tones with some lighter gray, but then you also get this really nice contrasting silver in a few places in the feet and in the biceps and even like around the back for what will become the gun section. And the face also nicely painted with the face in silver and the eye visor glasses, whatever, done in a light blue, much like the Titanmaster. Molding is really nice. Maybe a little bit more detailing picked out with paint in the chest would have been cool, but I think it's for what it is. It's just a Targetmaster. I think they did plenty. Now, this guy has a little bit of articulation also. Didn't mention it, but the Titanmaster has typical Titanmaster articulation where it's joints, legs are fused together, arms are on ball joints so they can kind of wiggle and move up and down. The head is on a ball joint so it can wiggle and turn a bit. So typical articulation there. This guy's articulation is a little bit more basic, but a little bit better at the same time. You got ball jointed arms that can go out all the way and can rotate around. You can kind of mimic a bicep rotation with the ball joint. You don't get anything at the elbows or wrists or anything like that. So like no bicep swivels, no elbow bend, no nothing. The head doesn't move, but it also kind of does. Because what happens is for the transformation, you rotate the waist, and rotating the waist rotates the head with it. So you can actually, if you use it sparingly, you can actually rotate the head and waist simultaneously. Though when you do that, this peg that becomes the handle does get in the way of guns and can create some problems. So you kind of can't, but you kind of can use that rotational joint. The hips can go forward and back. They're just hinged, so they can, or just swivels, so they can go forward and back. They can't go out. They can't rotate. However, the knees are tiny ball joints, so you can bend the knees pretty far, and you can actually rotate them. So you can have him, like, I don't know, like doing this, I guess. Maybe he can do like the what is it, some like it hot pose? I don't know. You can't really get a lot of posability out of this guy, but he is a target master, so I don't really mind. But again, like the molding and the paint is nice, and it's just a cool little accessory to have. I like that the LG, the Takara versions basically of Titan's Turn figures, I like that a lot of them came with Target Masters. I think that's cool. Now, let's bring him in again. And well, first let's do size comparisons. Then we'll talk about the Target Master a little bit more. So here we've got the vehicle and crew. Bring in Buzzworthy Dinobot and Ova Prime and Samus for our initial size comparisons. And yeah, in vehicle mode, Titan's Return and by extension, or rather Legends and by extension Titan's Return, Kup is kind of small, but like that's because he compacts really well. And bring in Burnout. And again, like I'd say this is roughly deluxe size. He's more of like a pickup truck shape, but deluxe size. We saw this already, but now for a more direct size comparison, here he is with the Studio Series 86 mold, more specifically the Buzzworthy iteration with repro labels. And as I said before, I stand by the fact that this figure is actually really cool. But yeah, he is bigger than the Studio Series mold. Of course, he also has to accommodate a Titanmaster, so that is a factor. And because we're looking at Titan's Return stuff, or what counts as Titan's Return stuff, bring in another Titan's Return figure, Titan's Return RC. And this is, again, kind of roughly the same size. RC is longer, but narrower and doesn't sit as high. So there is that. Also, Kup's seating section for the Titanmaster is way larger than RC's. RC's is like, you're just going to fit the Titanmaster in there and not much else. This guy has room for like 2 or 3 of them. I mean, I don't think you can actually get 2 or 3 of them in there, but he's got enough of a void for it. And finally, here he is with the duck tank. All right. Now, before we do the Target Master thing, if you want to support the channel, I've got links to Ko-fi and Patreon stuff at the end of the video, as well as down in the description. Otherwise, you could always do the typical YouTube thing of like, comment, share, subscribe. Now, Titanmaster Transformation, very simple. Just want to bring this up, and I feel like you can rotate the head and stuff at any point, but I like to do it when things are like this. So rotate the waist and by extension the head around, bring the arms down, bring this back, and it will kind of clip over these little notches around the arms. Now, going to rotate the knees 180 degrees, and these tabs on the backs of the feet will tab into these slots in kind of the middle of the back. So just bring these up and tab those in. They're not super solid, but they sit well enough. And this makes the Target Master gun. And it does kind of look like a folded up robot, but I feel like the silver paint on the black distracts enough from everything to make it less noticeable that this is a folded up robot. And you get a lot of nice silver detailing up here that's revealed now. And so the whole reason I have this guy situated like this is because you can peg this into the back of Kup's vehicle mode and have this Titanmaster doing like a little turret thing, which I think is cute. Because unfortunately, you can't really do much else to store the Target Master. You just kind of have to plug him in back here, and he just sits there while this guy drives, but whatever. This also has these little pegs here. I haven't tried this yet, but I think these are Titanmaster compatible. Yeah. So you can have a Titanmaster kind of balancing on the gun if you want. They're too far apart to have them sit in the middle, or rather have them sit across both pegs. But yeah, you can do that. It's a thing. Anyway, put him off to the side. Titanmaster Transformation is exactly the same as all of them. You just bring the arms straight down, fold the legs up, and there we have Kup's robot mode head, and we will look at that in more detail later. Now, the transformation for this mold, if you're unfamiliar with the transformation on this, it's actually very cool. It's one of the things I really like about this. So first, you want to pull the tailgate down, because it can do that for one, but yeah, you pull the tailgate down, untab the entire sides of the vehicle from the front wheel wells all the way to the back. Bring this down a little bit just for clearance, and then these bits for the truck bed come up. Now we can split the legs apart, and you want to rotate this all the way around, and it'll tab in up here. Bring in the tailgate and fold this in, and there's this little tab right here on the tailgate that will actually go into this little notch here. So when you fold this up and around, that will sit inside that slot, and then this will peg in up here, and that will lock all that together. And then to really lock it all together, you take this truck bed panel and fold it around, and this will now tab in here to make the front of the leg. And then you just flip out the toe. And that is a leg with a decent chunk of the vehicle mode just kind of prime Viacon folding up into the cabs. I think that's really cool. And same deal here. You don't have to bring this in first. I find it's the easiest way to do it without potentially risking this tab. I don't think the tab's particularly weak, but like if you fold this up and peg it in, then you can bring this in and just push it until it clicks in place. I just prefer to do it the other way because I feel like this, disconnecting it this way just doesn't feel quite right. But anyway, this can come down, tab in to lock the whole leg together, and flip out the toe. And that is it for the lower body. Now I'm going to swing this entire section up, rotate it 180 degrees, and derp truck mode, I guess. This all accordions down, and this accordions down, and this will tab in here. So now we've got the real Ger truck mode going. You want to lift this up, fold this up, and it'll kind of click in. And with this all clicked in, you can bring the window back down, close it up, and that gives you the torso. Now the arms untab. From here, there's this tab on the forearm that tabs in to the back here. So I'm going to untab these, bring these down, and now this is the one engineering, not molding, engineering difference between the Legends version and the Titans Return version. For the Legends version, you just bring the arm down and flip out the fist, and that's it. For the reason why that's different is because for the Titans Return version, there's actually a tiny peg on the shoulder that pegs into the little hole for the fist flippy outy bit. The Legends version does not have that tiny peg. It doesn't need it because when you fold all of this up, it's really this tab that's holding everything together, so you don't need that extra peg. And also it gives you the smoother shoulder. But yeah, you you don't get that little peg. That is the one engineering difference between the Legends and Titans Return releases of this figure. I don't care about the lack of peg. I think it's fine, and I understand why it's not there, and I don't think it makes a difference. But just for anyone wondering, yes, there is a very minimal engineering difference between the two. And then take Kup's head, plug it on. I find with this guy, it's best to do it with the Titanmaster head facing forward. So I just plug it in and rotate it around 180 degrees, and there we go. there is LG-46 Kup in robot mode, and this looks really cool. I love that transformation. I love how the legs come together, and like the upper body is pretty simple, but I also love how a decent chunk of the vehicle mode, like cab section, just kind of accordions down and compresses to give him a more proportional torso. I just think that's really cool. And what we're left with is a really good-looking Kup. Like, he's got a lot of really nice color breakup now, because in the vehicle mode, most of that dark green was at the back. And you got a little bit of it in a few other places, but it was kind of, mostly dark green, and then a little bit of dark green with more of the lighter color as well. Now it's much more spread out, where it alternates between the two quite a bit. And now for molding differences, as far as I can tell, the molding differences are very minor. Like the legs, I think the entire body is identical to the Titan's Return version, except for the shoulders and the forearms. I think everything else, like the torso, the waist section, the thighs, the lower legs, all that stuff, I think all of that is the same. But I definitely know that the shoulders and the forearms are different, because these forearms are much more like traditional Kup forearms with the little kind of flared out, more like semicircular cylindrical bits, gauntlets. You also have this really nice orange line detailing going all the way around, actually. It's kind of interesting because this is like a molded waffling bit here. Like right here, this is just like a little bit of plastic that goes around, and it's part of like the it's just part of like the molding, but they worked it into the design so that it carries that line across, and that's actually really cool. I'm kind of surprised we don't see that kind of detailing more often with like the voids in figures stuff. I don't know, maybe people would hate it because it calls more attention to the voids, but I think it's kind of cool using that, I guess, structural strut detail as part of the actual painted detail for the gauntlets. I like that. But again, like color breakup's really nice, and it's a cool figure. It's really clean too. He's got very big calves. Yes, he's basically got Popeye calves instead of forearms, but that's how the mold goes. And I just think this is really cool because like you don't really get any other junk. It's all just down in the legs, but it comes together really nicely. It's a really cool mold. I really like this mold. Now the head is different from the Titan's Return version. This is much more classic style Kup. It's got the roughly like 86 movie style head helmet design with the little dome bit at the top. The color separation is nice. I like that they use this gray for the face, though. That really helps to set it apart, and like the darker blue for the eyes. I don't mind the sculpt or anything like that. The only thing that kind of bugs me about this is they gave him what looks like a little smirk. And this doesn't quite work for Kup in my mind. I feel like he should look a little more annoyed or grizzled or something like that. But I don't know, maybe this is a slightly younger and slightly more optimistic Kup. Maybe. But like, it's a good sculpt, and it's painted really well. A lot of color separation. I like, too, how the plastic for the legs and the arms of the Titanmaster actually match the rest of the plastic for the helmet, so it kind of looks, it gives the illusion, color-wise, that it goes all the way around. And because they use that light blue plastic for the torso section and painted the thighs, it makes it look like this section kind of continues on. It's broken up a little bit by the dark green, but like it works really well. I like that. Now, for articulation, he is Titan's Return Kup. Again, I feel like I've said this a lot, but you've got the ball-jointed Titanmaster head, which gives you a little bit of side-to-side motion, a teeny tiny bit of up and down motion, but it can rotate all the way around. The shoulders are on ball joints, but you're not getting any butterfly wiggle out of them, really, but they can go all the way around. They can go out to very slightly past 90, but then you can use the transformation joint to go up further. And you can kind of angle them up like this if you want. I don't know why, but you could do that. You get a bicep rotation, a double jointed elbow that, because of the transformation, bends all the way up. The fists don't rotate, they don't bend in, but you can bend them out if you want. So he can be, either really have to pee or be really excited to meet his favorite celebrity. You get a waist rotation. If you want, you can untransform the strut here and actually give him an ab crunch. So that's pretty cool. The hips are on ball joints, so they can go forward to a little bit less than 90, but still pretty decently forward. Can go back to a little bit past 90, can go out only that far. So not great outward motion, though you can't really go out any further going this way either. So yeah, limited outward motion. You get a dedicated thigh rotation. You can kind of use the ball joint for thigh rotation as well. The knees can bend to 90 or can bend forward slightly. And the toes can point, but you don't get any ankle rotation or ankle tilts. So, it's pretty darn decent articulation, especially because you have an ab crunch. But at the same time, it's the Titan's Return figures, so you're not getting super duper articulation out of this guy. Also, something I noticed as I was transforming this guy, there's a little paint blemish on his shoulder. Might want to try and remove that later. Yeah, I don't know. I bought this thing like it was new in box. It, unopened and everything, so this is just how it came, which is a shame. There are a couple of little paint scratches I noticed, and also like the paint defect there, but it's minor, so it is what it is. And then for his accessory, he has his Targetmaster, which you can put into either hand, and he holds it, but he does not hold it as well as I wish he did. As you can kind of see, even if I hold the fist in place, this wobbles around a bit. So it's not the fist rotating, that is the Targetmaster rotating. If I do this, yeah, that is not great. I wish that was not a thing. It goes in okay. And what's weird is if you pull it out slightly, it's less inclined to rotate. So I guess I could just do that, is like push it in and then pull it back out slightly, and now it's not wiggling. I don't know. It's a very weird bit of nuance to this, but I guess it beats the alternative. Anyway, I like this guy a lot, as I've said. The paint detailing is really good. The color breakup in this mode is really good. The transformation, I really like this mold. So I've always been a fan of the transformation. Really, Titan's Return, it was a good series. I know we started to get tired of the reuse after a while, and I understand. I was there too. A whole lot of those molds got reused over and over again. Like, the blur mode. The blur mold got used so many times, but it was still a really cool series. And I kind of miss it. I think it'd be interesting to see what it would be like if they did something similar again. I don't think they will, because that gimmick has kind of outlived its usefulness, I think. Also, there he is with the regular size comparisons, but I don't know. I think revisiting Titan's Return style stuff with more modern engineering, I think it'd be cool. And who knows, since we're doing Legacy, it's not impossible. Well, okay, we're not technically going to be doing Legacy anymore, but like it's still going to be Legacy, just by a different name. But like, because we're kind of doing the Legacy approach of multiple years and whatnot, multiple lines, who knows? We might one day get another pass at like the Headmasters, because Headmasters was its own cartoon. So I could see it happen. That's purely wishful thinking on my part, but I could see it happen. And I think a modern, like a modernized Headmaster for like Chrome Dome, Brainstorm, Skull Cruncher, or Skull Smasher, Mind Wipe, all that stuff, I think it'd be really cool. Anyway, here is Kup with burnouts, and he is noticeably taller than a modern deluxe. Because, things have, on average, gotten a little smaller over the years, but I think that's okay. Here he is with the Studio Series mold, and they're actually closer to the same height. He is still taller, but not by a ton. And here you can see how there are a lot of shared design ideas between these two, particularly the arms, where now these are more spherical to match. I mean, granted, this is not like this came first, but like this is way more intensely trying to capture the 86 design. And so you can see like the forearms, the similar shapes and designs, and like, why they remolded this to make it look more in line with the original design. And like you can kind of see the head shape that they were going for. Granted, the face is not as gaunt and haggard on this guy, but again, I feel like it's kind of younger Kup, older, grumpier Kup. And this, I still maintain, great figure, really like this guy. And this version of the mold does not have the same problem as the Studio Series version. They actually managed to improve the tolerances on the pop-apart bits. So, like his arms and legs are not simply like popping off. You actually do have to put in effort to remove them, which is great. But yeah, I think this is a cool figure, and I don't know. I kind of wish that they used this mold for more than just Kup or Orion packs, because I'm not super into Orion packs and I don't generally care for Kup as a character, but like, it's cool. It's a cool figure. I like it. Anyway, yeah, here he is with Kup. Here's Kup with Kup. And bringing back our other Titans Return comparison. Here he is with RC, aka the Blur mold. So there's how the two of them stack up. I don't have Takara's Blur anymore because I didn't really see a need to have multiple versions of the same Titans Return mold. Really, at this point, when I do multiple versions of a mold, the only mold that I actively try and get multiple versions of is Studio Series 86 Grimlock, as is evidenced by the 4 I currently own. And I maintain I will absolutely buy a blue one if they release them in blue. But yeah, I don't have Blur anymore, but RC is still a good representation of that mold. And this is still a really cool RC. I still really like this figure. And finally, to round all of this off, here is Kup with the duck tank. And that does it for LG-46 Kup, Takara's version of the Titans Return figure. And I've kind of said it already. This is a really cool toy. Love that transformation. The engineering's really impressive. The articulation is, for the time, really good. Honestly, the only thing he's really missing is better outward motion at the hips and ankle tilts. But like, where are they going to put ankle tilts on this? It's not going to fit the way these legs are designed. And he gets an ab crunch. You have to detransform it a little bit, but he has a functioning ab crunch. That is cool. And it's even above the waist swivel. So yeah, very cool figure. The mold in any capacity is good. And I feel like right now, from what I remember, you can actually get a Titans Return Kup for pretty cheap. So if you're interested in the mold, try and find one, because they are out there and there doesn't seem to be a ton of demand. So I think you could get one for a good price. But, I'd say this is still the one to get. But this one's a bit more expensive. Or there's the Orion Pax version of the mold, which might be more costly. And also, I don't really care about Orion Pax. But still, you got a few options with this. And this is a very worthwhile mold. I just wish that they did a little bit of painting and a little bit more painting in a few areas, and this pegged in better. I don't know. Maybe it'd be nice if the translucent bit for the chest was a little bit more opaque. I feel like this is more opaque than what you get with the Titans Return version, but I feel like it'd be nice if it was maybe a little more opaque. But it is cool you get this detail revealed here, but at the same time, I'm still kind of tempted to get the Repro labels set and put some of them on this guy. I don't know if I will, because I feel like some of that might ruin the deco, because it is a very nice deco. We'll see. Point is, cool figure. If you're interested, absolutely try and track it down, and I feel like you can get it for a pretty decent price in one form or another if you're not too picky about which one you get. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this. What do you all think of this guy, or any iteration of the mold? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And again, no clue what the next video is going to be, so we will find out together.